Dutton Ranch, Episode 6. Trailer opens in complete darkness, not the kind of darkness that feels accidental, the kind that feels deliberate, the kind that tells you immediately that whatever is about to happen is not meant to be seen by anyone who does not already have blood on their hands. Rip pulls up on the side of the road in his truck, and sitting beside him is Hain Jackson. And the first thing you notice about Hain in this moment is that he is not the composed, measured man we have seen trying to keep the Jackson family from destroying itself. He is trembling, he is visibly frightened, and that fear tells you everything you need to know about where Hain truly stands when he is stripped of his family name, stripped of his mother's protection, and forced to sit alone in the dark with a man like Rip Wheeler. Because that is exactly what Hain has always been operating behind. A name, a shield. When Buller Jackson is in the room, Hain carries authority. When the weight of the Jackson legacy is hanging over a conversation, people treat him with a certain level of caution. But take all of that away, and what you have is a man who was never built for the darker side of ranch life. He is not Rob Will. He never was. Rob Will was forged in violence and chaos from a young age. He understands how to move in that world because he has lived in it his entire life. Hain, on the other hand, has always been the brother who tried to do things the right way, the one who kept his hands clean, the one who their mother trusted more. And that difference between the two brothers has always been a quiet source of poison inside the Jackson family, because Rob Will does not respect it. He sees Hain's cleaner path not as something to admire, but as something to resent. And that resentment has been simmering under the surface of every scene they have shared this season. But right now, in this truck, none of that matters. What matters is what Rip says next. He looks directly at Hain and he says, "I want to know who put the body on my property." And this line is significant for reasons that go far beyond the surface level, because up until this moment, the expectation was that Rip would keep that information locked away, that he would hold the discovery of Wes's body on the Dutton Ranch close to his chest and use it as leverage at the exact right moment. That is how Rip Wheeler has always operated. Patient, strategic, waiting for the moment where the information causes maximum damage to whoever he is using it against. So the fact that he is showing his hand this early, the fact that he is going directly to Hain and demanding answers before he has even fully established his position on the Temple Ranch tells you that something has shifted inside of Rip. He is not waiting anymore. He is going on the offensive. And what that means for the story going forward is enormous, because the moment Rip moves from passive observer to active aggressor, the entire balance of power on the Temple Ranch begins to shift. Up until now, the Jacksons have had the upper hand. It is their land, their legacy, their network of protection that includes a sheriff who will look the other way and a community that has been living under their shadow for generations. But Rip Wheeler, with the knowledge of a body buried on his property and the willingness to use it, is a completely different kind of threat to the Jackson family than anything they have faced before. He is not a rival rancher trying to take their land. He is not a business competitor trying to undercut their deals. He is a man who has buried people himself, a man who understands how that world works from the inside, and that makes him exponentially more dangerous. Now, the question that comes out of this confrontation between Rip and Hain is simple but crucial. What does Hain do with this moment, because he is sitting at the most important crossroads of his entire arc this season? On one side, he has his family, his mother, the Jackson name, the ranch that he has poured everything into and that he genuinely believes he will one day run. On the other side, he has Rip Wheeler sitting in the dark beside him, asking questions about a body and the very real possibility that if he does not cooperate, whatever protection he thought he had is about to disappear entirely. And there is something else pushing Hain toward that crossroads that has nothing to do with Rip at all. It has to do with Buller, because we know that Hain wants the Temple Ranch. He has dedicated years of his life to it. He has sacrificed things for it. He has made himself indispensable to it, but Buller has made it quietly, devastatingly clear that the ranch is not going to him. She wants it to go to Rob Will or to Oriana, her granddaughter, because they are blood. And Hain is not. That single fact that after everything he has given, he is still considered an outsider in the one place he thought of as home is the kind of wound that does not heal. It festers. And when you combine that festering wound with the pressure that Rip is now applying, you have a man who is standing right on the edge of a decision that could destroy the Jackson family from the inside out. Because if Hain tells Rip what he knows, if he drops Rob Will's name into that conversation, the entire foundation that the Jacksons have built their power on begins to crack. And the trailer is already giving us signals that this crack is coming. The fact that we see Hain on his knees at the end of that trailer, bleeding, desperate, with someone pointing a weapon at him, suggests that his position inside the family is already beginning to collapse. Something has already happened between the trailer's opening scene and that final moment, something that has left him completely exposed and with nobody willing to protect him, and that brings us to the other critical piece of this puzzle, because Rip confronting Hain in the dark is only one half of the opening movement of this episode. The other half is what Beth is doing while Rip is applying pressure from the outside. We see Beth and Buller driving into the city together, we see them sitting side by side in a business meeting, and we see Beth leading that conversation with a confidence and a composure that feels distinctly different from the Beth Dutton we watched tear through Yellowstone for 6 seasons. She says, "The temple is unlike any other, but knowing when to walk away is just as valuable as knowing when to fight." And as she says it, Buller is watching her, not with suspicion, not with the guarded wariness we have seen from her when it comes to the Duttons, but with something that looks dangerously close to respect. And that shift in Buller's attitude toward Beth is the single most important development in this trailer, because the entire plan that Beth and Rip are running depends on Buller trusting Beth enough to let her deeper into the Jackson world. Every piece of information they need, every secret that the Jackson family has buried over the years runs through Buller. She is the center of everything. And if Beth can position herself as someone that Buller genuinely values, then the access they gain is unlimited. The trailer is telling us that this is already beginning to happen, but here is where the story gets genuinely complicated, because while Beth is earning Buller's trust in boardrooms and business meetings, there is someone on the other side of this equation who is watching all of it happen and absolutely hating every second of it. Rob Will Jackson is out of rehab, and the trailer makes it crystal clear within seconds of showing him that rehabilitation did nothing. He is loading his weapon. He is pointing it at someone. He is moving through the night with the same reckless, combustible energy that got him sent away in the first place. The ranch did not fix him. The time away did not reset him. If anything, it looks like the period of forced stillness has made him more volatile, not less. Because Rob Will is not a man who does well with reflection. Sitting in a facility with nothing but his own thoughts and the weight of everything he has done is not going to produce growth in someone like him. It is going to produce pressure. And pressure in Rob Will Jackson does not release slowly. It releases all at once. And the first thing he does when he gets out is go straight to Chad, not to his mother, not to Hain, to Chad. And that detail alone tells you exactly what Rob Will's priorities are the moment he steps back into the world. He is not thinking about the ranch. He is not thinking about the business. He is thinking about loyalty, about control, and about the fact that while he was locked away, things on the Temple Ranch have been changing in ways that he did not authorize and absolutely does not approve of. Rip Wheeler is now the foreman. New rules are being implemented, new procedures are being put in place. And Beth Dutton, the wife of the man who Rob Will had a direct and violent confrontation with earlier this season, is now sitting in business meetings alongside his mother as though she belongs there. From Rob Will's perspective, he has come home to find his territory occupied, and that is the one thing that Rob Will Jackson cannot tolerate, so he goes to Chad. Because Chad is his instrument. Chad is the person he can deploy without getting his own hands dirty in the immediate sense. And we need to understand who Chad actually is in this story, because his role in episode 6 is shaping up to be absolutely pivotal. Chad is not a leader. He has never been a leader. He is someone who operates entirely on the basis of who is backing him up. When Hain threatened him earlier in the season, Chad backed down because in that moment, Hain had the authority and Chad had nothing behind him. But now Rob Will is back. Now Chad has the most dangerous man on the Temple Ranch standing in his corner. And that changes everything about how Chad carries himself. The trailer shows him walking through the dead of night with a purpose and a confidence that we have not seen from him before. And that shift is entirely because he knows that the balance of power has moved. He is not alone anymore. Now, connect that to what we see at the end of the trailer. Hain is on his knees, his lip is bleeding, someone is standing over him with a weapon, and the hand holding that weapon is shaking. Not with weakness, with emotion, with the kind of anger or desperation that makes a person's entire body vibrate because the feeling is too large to be contained. And this is the detail that eliminates Rip Wheeler from the equation entirely, because Rip does not shake. Rip Wheeler has been in situations like this more times than most people have had ordinary conversations. A weapon in his hand in a moment of confrontation would be as steady and controlled as everything else about him. The trembling hand belongs to someone who is not used to this, someone who is in over their head emotionally, someone who has been pushed to a breaking point. And every piece of evidence in this trailer points directly to Chad. Think about what Chad's arc has looked like this season. He has been humiliated, he has been threatened, he has been made to feel small and powerless in a world where the people around him operate with a kind of ruthless confidence that he simply does not have. And now he has Rob Will back, and Rob Will has almost certainly told him to go and handle Hain, to send a message, to make it clear that the Dutton interference on the Temple Ranch is not going to be tolerated and that Hain's cooperation with Rip and Beth is being noticed and will have consequences, so Chad goes. And in that moment, with Rob Will's backing, making him feel invincible for possibly the first time in his life, he does something he never would have done before. He puts a weapon in Hain's face. But